Hey everyone. Let's have a conversation today about a fear that keeps a lot of veterans from actually getting the help that they need. It's a concern I see every single day in the comments, on the forums, and more. It's the idea that if you start taking medication and it actually works, if you start feeling a little bit better, the VA is going to see that in your records and try to take your rating away. I call this the medication catch-22. You're told to get treatment to improve your quality of life, but you're afraid that improvement, well, it can be used against you as evidence to reduce your compensation. You feel like you're stuck in a cycle of, again, riding along as a passenger with whatever the doctor prescribes, while you're constantly looking over your shoulder, waiting for a reduction. So today, we're going to look at the facts behind this fear. We're going to talk about what happened earlier this year in February of 2026 with the proposed medication rules, why they were rescinded, and most importantly, how you can move into the driver's position and protect your family while still taking care of your health. So let's talk about the big scare that happened, right? In February 2026, the VA tried to implement a new rule that would have fundamentally changed how they rate disabilities. They wanted to amend the regulations to state that your rating should be based on how you function while you're on medication. Essentially, they wanted to rate you in your treated state. For example, if you have severe depression, but you're on an antidepressant that stabilizes your mood and keeps you from having frequent panic attacks, if the VA wanted to take that out, they could without considering the underlying condition. This caused a massive uproar from veterans. Organizations like American Legion, the DAV, they all stepped up, made it real clear that veterans should not be penalized for complying with medical treatment. Because of that pressure, the VA formally rescinded that rule at the end of February. They moved back to the original standards. This is a huge victory for those of us, who believe in full accountability. But just because that specific rule was pulled back doesn't mean the risk is gone. The VA is always looking for what they call sustained improvement. To move from being a passenger to driving this system, you have to understand the difference between being cured and being managed. If you have a service-connected condition, the VA can only reduce your rating if they show that there has been a material improvement in your physical or mental health, and that this improvement is likely to be permanent. Taking a pill every morning to keep your symptoms at bay is not a cure, it's management. If you stop taking that medication tomorrow and your symptoms return in full force, you've not improved. You're simply using a tool to manage a disability. Your goal is to make sure that your medical records reflect that reality. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that veterans make when they start feeling better is they tell their doctor, "I'm doing great, everything's fine." When the doctor writes, "Veteran reports doing well" in the notes, a VA rater that sees that as an improvement once you go for your next claim, and then, you're screwed. What you should be telling your doctor is, the medication is helping with my mood, but I'm still experiencing chronic fatigue. I still have trouble sleeping, and I'm dealing with these side effects, right? And that brings me to the most powerful tactical move in your plan, building your side effect bridge. Almost every medication has a cost. If you're taking high dose ibuprofen for a back injury and it helps the pain, but it gives you chronic heartburn or GERD, That's a new problem. That's a secondary. If your mental health medication helps your anxiety but causes significant weight gain or organ dysfunction, those are not just side effects. They are new conditions that can be claimed as secondary to your original disability using the bridge method. Instead of just maintaining your current rating and hoping the VA doesn't notice you're doing better, well, you should be looking at the total package of your health. If the treatment for condition A causes condition B, and then B belongs on your records as a service-connected secondary, this turns a defensive position into an offensive position. You aren't just protecting your rating, you're ensuring that your records accurately reflect the full impact of your service. You also need to understand the 60-day notice rule. The VA cannot just flip a switch and lower your check. If they believe you have improved, they are legally required to send you a notice of proposed reduction. You then have 60 days to submit evidence to show that your condition has not improved, and you have 30 days to request a hearing. If you get that letter, that is your signal to stop being a passenger and start being the driver. You need to get to your doctor, have a real conversation about your functional impairment. This is a technical term that the VA uses. It means, how does this disability affect your ability to work and live your daily life? Even if the medication makes you feel better, are you still limited? Do the pills make you drowsy? Do they affect your concentration? Do they make it hard for you to interact with others? If the answer is yes to any of that, then you have functional impairment despite the treatment that you're taking. The VA regulations actually state that when a rating is based on symptoms, the rater should consider the frequency, severity, and duration of those symptoms. If your symptoms are only gone because you're taking a heavy chemical cocktail every day, you're still impaired. The legal standard established in court cases like Jones versus Shinseki is that the VA must consider your untreated state unless the rating schedule specifically says otherwise. So here's your action plan. First, do not stop taking your medication just because you're afraid of a reduction. Your health is way more important than the rating. If the meds are keeping you in the fight, keep taking them. Second, start a symptom log. Document those days when the meds aren't working. Document the flare-ups. Document every single side effect you experience. The log is the data to feed your doctor so that they can put the proper notes in. Third, when you go to your appointments, be honest about the cost of improvement. If the pills make you feel like a zombie, tell them that. If you've gained 30 pounds since starting the prescription, tell them that. Make sure all this is in the record. This creates the evidence for these secondary claims that we've talked about. Reaching 100% or any rating level isn't about winning a game. It's about securing those resources that you and your family need because of what happened during your time in uniform. Do not let a fear of the system stop you from taking care of yourself. Take the wheel, document the details, and force the VA to look at the whole picture. I know the VA bureaucracy can feel overwhelming. If you're tired of operating without the map that helps you, I have developed a VA claims operating system, $29, low cost, high value tool designed to give you a framework to move you through the system with a plan. That link is going to be in the comments below if you're ready to take command of that claim. Hey, Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Really helps me reach more veterans who are sitting in that medication catch-22 and need a way out. Keep fighting. Take care of one another. I'll see you in the next one.